as a means of showing or demonstrating the consequence of a person being more whole. It is true wellness. Common assumptions underline reorganizational healing. Something disturbing the way a person's feeling and living his life or her life. This suggests that change in perception or action is necessary in some aspect of the individual's life. And although uncomfortable and disruptive of life the person is living, the symptom is instructive and is not an adversary. It requires more energy in the system. The purpose of the symptom is adaptive, to interrupt the existing behavior patterns, to interrupt the way you perceive things, to interrupt the structures of your life. Success is creating a new energy-efficient emerging state, which is at a higher level of organization within the body, its consciousness, and one's life. Change, adaptability, new meaning, new actions, new conscious states, or new understanding is desired. Most often, there's little correlation between symptoms, disease, the internal experience of wellness or illness. That's very important to know. Wellness and health is an interactive process involving multiple aspects of one's life and the internal state. New resources can be fortified very rapidly in spite of the crisis, symptoms, disease. I have been with people who have metastasized cancer, and the last few months of their life have actually been the healthiest. They've developed more connected relations with people. They felt more vital. They felt more alive. And I've been with people with metastasized cancer where the cancer totally disappeared, stage 4 cancer. That doesn't mean the network care makes the difference in that. It means the person's reorganizational healing makes a difference. And to an extent that any system helps a person to reorganize, to basically be able to use thermodynamics more effectively, bring more energy into the system, to organize the wisdom, to bring them to a structural, behavioral, and perceptual coherence, the more effective the person is at healing. And all symptoms and all disease occur because the body drops into a lower energy and organizational state. No matter how you name it, that's the underlying process. If you bring more energy to the system and more energy to the organizing intelligence, it will organize in a higher level and no longer needs to have the innate adaptive process known as disease. When is the time in your life you sought reorganizational healing? When was the time that someone fired you and said, thank you, I'm going to take it to the next level? When was the time someone left a relationship and said, this is over, and you realized that was the best thing? When was the time a symptom or disease, instead of being the worst thing, became the best thing in your life? Start knowing that, stacking that in your life. And then when you speak to people, ask them, what time was the worst thing that happened? Did it really become the best thing? How did that happen? This next diagram, the triad of change, actually is probably the most important diagram you could know, or your patients or practice members will know. This one diagram really answers almost anything anyone could ask in their care. It's based upon when we did research with Network, we would hold a contact on the structure of the body, and we see a behavioral change of the body known as the wave, or the body reorganizing itself. And with that, the person would have a new perceptual range. When we do somatorespiratory integration, we have them touch their body, have the person be aware of the body structure in a certain area, and they become aware of their perception there. And with that, it produces a rhythm or a behavior. Now, I realize every structure, every posture, every structure of the body results in certain behaviors. It has certain perceptions associated with it. If you have your neck forward, your shoulders down, you're going to have different perceptions than if your body is straight and upright. Behaviors. If you have certain behaviors, they'll result in certain perceptions. You basically start hitting people and punching people as a behavior. Guess what? You're going to start feeling angry. If you feel angry, you're going to act differently. And the same way, if you have self-doubt, the structure of your body is going to be different. The spine is going to be different. This is a model of change. And before you could change, you have to know how you live life. This is the model of how life is lived. When we take care of people, some people we work with, and we may hold a level 1 or level 2 contact and network adjustment. And some people, you see a prominent change of behavior because behavior is one of the ways they lead in life. Other people, you don't see much of a change, but they say, oh my God, I realized what happened in my life. Wow, I experienced such joy I never felt before. Or I realized I hated my mother. Whatever it was like that. Other people, you'll probably change. You see a wave go through them. Respiratory wave happens. A network somatopsychic wave happens. They sit up, and the last thing that changes is their posture or the structure. That is because each of us have a gift. Each of us have a primary mode of how we experience the world and how we make change. Structure, behavior, perception. Each of us has a way we habitually go about managing pain or stress. Each of us has a way that is least effective. If a person is not very effective at structure, and structure is the biggest challenge, by trying to realign the structure or following a program of care, they'll get more ill. If someone's behavior is their challenge, you're not going to see the same behavioral change, and ask them to do something different will actually make more ill. Some people will get great change but just won't have a sense of what they're feeling, and asking them what they're feeling when they make them more ill. This is the key. We have the answer to change, because we see when we take care of people and they're more energy efficient and they develop new strategies and stage levels of care. When the surface EMG starts corresponding to the surface EMG changes and research starts corresponding to people's perceptions, when their perception, behavior, and structure start becoming more coherent, we understand how the person does how to live life, and we understand how to modify care. On the outside, we have life force, emotion, spiritual, mental. Those deal with the energetic intelligences. Those energetic intelligences actually regulate the levels of care. And the energy is the center. If you bring more energy into the system through a better perception, a better behavior, a better structure, suddenly the person has access to the organizing wisdoms more effectively. How do we define behavior? It's a pattern of actions taken. It's a series of sensory motor patterns. It is an expression of the internal state that can be observed. Because how do you know ultimately if somebody's happy or not? You watch what they do. You watch their posture. It's purposeful movement towards a goal or objective. Behavior must be emotion. It's what's happening. Perception is a chosen perspective. It's a mode, a style of focus. It's a connection between body, sense, focus, and meaning. Perception is a sensation. It's a feeling. It's a meaning without being attached to anything. It's just joy. It's just upset. It's just feeling good about myself, feeling good about someone else. That's perception. Structure is a form. It's locked in time or space. It's solid. Structure basically is anything that it may be seen on a flow chart. You may say, how am I doing? Well, I'm feeling well today compared to yesterday. If the person's looking at it, this compared to this, it's a structure. You can experience pain as a structure being solid. You can experience it as a feeling or a perception. You can feel it as a movement, a stabbing, or burning of behavior. The way you experience it tells you and tells the doctor a tremendous amount about yourself. And if you experience it consistent with your nature, it happens, you get the lesson, it's done. Energy. It's a force of expression of consciousness. It's fuel. It's a source of supply for action. It's the means of maintaining the system far from equilibrium. It's the means of the system organizing. Any change you want to make requires energy. If there's not enough energy, you don't make constructive change. And if there's less energy, you actually go back to a previous, less reinforced state. Reorganizational healing has three components. One component is the triad of change, a person's personal style of change. The second part of it is a person's sacred seasons. The sacred seasons are discover, transform, awaken, and integrate. Just like in summer, winter, and autumn, you expect different influences. The seasons influence what's possible as an individual. They also determine what actual levels of care a person could express. Season determines how empowered they're going to be. It determines the type of communication you have with the person. It determines the type of change. In the season of discover, basically a person's moving away from pain, and that usually involves the bioenergetic and emotional intelligence level 1 and 2A of care. The season of discover, there's no person there. They're just responding like an infant or a child in that way, looking to just move away from pain for protection. They want to prove they're not a nobody, and they don't want to be judged or blamed, and they just want to prove it's not their fault. And the conversation in season of discover is about what they don't want, or what they want to avoid and don't like. There is no higher order there, because there's no one there yet developmentally to express it. There is only a problem in discover. In Season of Transform, you now deal with the mental intelligences, and you deal now with level 2B and level 2C of care. You're moving ahead. You have a plan. You have an organizational sense of where you want to go. You have a goal, and you're going to achieve it. You're no longer considering, I'm a nobody. You're now going to develop a sense of self and be a somebody. You're going to be a practice member. You're going to decide what changes you want to work with the practitioner with. You become from a patient who's passive to a practice member who works cooperatively with a doctor to be able to make a change. In Transform, you're going to make consistent change. You're going to move ahead. You're going to make progress. You're going to have enough energy to influence those around you, to inspire people, and to actually create change. You're going to have courage. You're going to have tenacity. You're going to follow through. You're going to make progress. In Awaken, you're going to experience the spiritual nature of things. You're going to have acceptance for people. You're going to do an advanced care and network. And here you deal with what I call the soul energetic intelligence. The Season Awaken is about love and gratitude. The currency in Discover is bioenergy, life force, and emotion. The currency in Transform is thoughts. The currency in Awaken is gratitude and is love. Each of these are achieved in the care with network. And that's how I discovered these seasons. Each season represents the way a person influences his environment to her environment and how his environment influences you. In the Season of Discover, you're a victim of your environment or product of your environment. In Transform, you are actually creating new change in the environment. And in Awaken, you are actually now enlightening others and making a difference through love and gratitude. And creating a difference for others is the key of what you're looking to do. And it's about love, and it's about claiming a conscious awakening experience in life. The key of all of this is to integrate. If you're an Awaken and you love and you accept things as you are, you're not going to make a change. You're going to meditate and you accept. If you're in Transform, you won't accept. If you're in Discover, you can't accept and you can't transform. So Integrate is a season where we bring aspects of Awaken into Transform. We bring aspects of Transform into Discover. For example, you have a symptom or an area of life or an area of your body that's been problematic and you want to get rid of it, but you realize the way to get rid of it is to improve your health. You bring now the season of Transform into Discover. You're making transformative change in your body and your life, and you realize eventually you must have more compassion for yourself or others. You bring qualities of Awaken into it. As you learn the seasons to Discover, Transform, and Awaken, you consciously learn to integrate them. And as a network practitioner, you will choose to integrate aspects of different levels of care together. That's more advanced in care. You may hold a level 1 contact, and while doing it, add aspects of Transform, aspects of Awaken. This is once you are able to achieve the results with each of the seasons individually. The third part of organizational healing involves innate intelligence as basically different intelligence.